What is up, everyone? Dean here. That's Dean 78904. If you want to get all technical on me, it is 2:30 on the West Coast, 3:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 Eastern Time. I'm not Dean, but this is Grinderslive. Filling in for him today. He had something he had to take care of. Hopefully everything's going all right over there. But you got me today. You got Will. We're breaking down this nice little 6-game NBA slate. It's a fun one. It's a doozy. Anytime where you're pretty much forced to throw a Nick into your lineup, it could get interesting, but it's a fun little slate. We're going to be breaking things down. We're going to have Keach coming in about 15, 20 minutes, breaking down the new inactives and everything. Seth Curry is now available to play. But yeah, it's going to be a good show. How you doing over there, Will?
I'm good, man. Interesting slate. We were kind of talking about it a little bit earlier. I've got my personal projections in, and listen, the lineups that I'm getting, I don't feel good at all. But that does not mean I still don't like a lot of plays. So, like we were talking about before, I think lineup construction is the key. Obviously, there's a lot of plays tonight that you can take. I'm probably going to take some stands in a couple games. But all in all, man, I'm just excited to come on as usual, hang out with the people, give some strategy and try to break this slate down.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be an interesting one to break down. And as of right now, we don't have a ton of news that's really going to break this slate, in my opinion. Obviously, we're just assuming that Elf is out just because he's doubtful right now. And that's kind of the one that would have made a huge problem. We're assuming that Porzingis is out. So as of right now, I'm not seeing any real injuries or game time decisions that are going to make a huge impact right now. So you got... obviously, we're not terrible. Jeff Green being out may do something. Kleber, most of these guys that are projected to play, if they end up missing, it's not going to make a huge difference on the slate. You seeing any pertinent news that we really have to worry about right now?
No, not really, man. I don't see anything that's going to, force me too far to the left or right, which really makes this a good slate. I think, in my opinion, Grant, this is a slate where you stick to your guns, stick to your personal principles, and I've got personal principles that I live by, and I've been talking about it all year. I'm always going to attack bad defenses, right? And I'm mostly going to play centers against Brooklyn, and I said mostly because hey, you've got Mr. Jokic out there against Washington today, which I consider an equitable spot as well. So I think you don't need to get too cute. I think you can really condense that player pool today, and I run a condensed player pool typically anyway. But I think you can really condense it down. A lot of the chalk today is going to be good chalk. And I'm sure we'll get into some Derrick Rose talk eventually. A lot of it's going to be good chalk, and you've got Sacramento, Washington, and Brooklyn on the slate. So we've got plenty of options for game stacks, plays. Maybe you mix and match. We got the single entry series where you're going to have to make some tough decisions, I think. And that's kind of where I am. And as we go along, I'll try to give the people what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's just start getting a little bit of an overview here. We've got a lot of options at the top here from 9.9K to 11K. And as of right now, it looks like Joker is going to be the most heavily owned, which is not surprising at all. He's probably the best play, probably the top raw points play going up against Washington. Terrible rebounding team, terrible against versatile bigs, just a beautiful matchup and a fast-paced, bad defensive matchup. But going up against Brooklyn, Vooch has had just as high of a ceiling as anyone else over the last 3 games, 64 and 74 points in 2 of those games. So just a pristine matchup for him. He's likely to come in at half the ownership of Joker. We got Harden, who's been on an absolute tear recently, really taking over, getting triple doubles on almost a nightly basis, putting up over 60 points, 70 points, and he's going to come in at less ownership than Joker, but obviously point guard has a whole lot of more plays. Same thing with Luka. I know he hasn't played as well since Porzingis has been out, but it's just, and even Giannis going up against the Pelicans, who've been a lot better matchup recently, and they have a 125.25 total. Who are you on DraftKings and FanDuel? What's your favorite spend up here? How are you handling it?
For me, man, like I said, let's just live by those principles. I think I'm going to side with Vooch. He's kind of going to be a staple of my lineups tonight. Not going to garner as much ownership as, say, a Jokic. And look, man, Jokic is a fantastic player. I mean, if he goes for 80, hey, I'll tip my cap and see you tomorrow. But if he has a 60-point game, I think Vooch has got 60-point possibility tonight for sure. Like I said, sticking to those principles. What do I want to do, man? I want to attack Sacramento, and guess what? I want to attack Dallas. Like, people haven't been attacking Dallas. Guess what, folks? Dallas is not playing good defense. So, I want to play some Seth Curry tonight. When everybody's playing the cheap Knicks, and I'm not saying the cheap Knicks aren't valuable. Like, you need to have some Derrick Rose exposure. He's probably near lock button in my opinion. Like, I don't, I kind of have a lock button or close to lock button every day. Derrick Rose is probably getting a lock button today for me, Grant, period. But, outside of that, I think Seth Curry is in play, man, especially on FanDuel. 4K, going against Dallas. If you're in any type of narrative streak, used to play in Dallas. I'm not playing him for that reason. I'm just playing him because he's 4K and I think he's got the upside. And I mean, and even he's projecting that it looks like 24%. And I could be wrong. I'm going to refresh here because I want to make sure I've got the right numbers in front of me as we progress along. But Seth Curry is a guy I really like. Slightly, a little bit of a discount to Emmanuel Quickly. We've got Quickly at 29%, Curry at 23%. And then we've got Burks at 24%. So he's kind of sandwiched in between. And in my opinion, he's going to play. He has more stable minutes than Quickly and Burks, even though I know Quickly's going to have stable minutes with no Elf Payton playing tonight. But Curry is definitely a favorite of mine. And then in terms of like a sneaky play tonight, this guy isn't cheap, but I like the matchup. He's not cheap. Let me repeat. He is not cheap, but I like the matchup and I like the ownership, and that's Evan Fournier. Yes, he's either going to get me 25 or 40, but on a slate like tonight, where everybody's going to be high owned, Evan Fournier has a fantastic matchup against Brooklyn. He's a guy I'm going to be rolling out there to be a little bit contrarian. Harden is probably going to be a staple of mine as well. No secret there. So as you can see, most of my lineups are probably going to be built on that mini game stack: Harden, Vooch, Fournier, and then I'll start spreading it out from there. But that's kind of going to be a point of attack for me on this slate, especially with this Fournier ownership. It's very low for a guy that you want to play. And Grant, I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut up because I feel like I've been talking too much, hogging up the mic here. But you want to take guys like Fournier in spots where they have the upside, right? I don't want to play Fournier against some juggernaut defensive team. I don't want to play him against Utah. I don't want him to play him against the Lakers when they're fully healthy. I want to play Evan Fournier against Sacramento, against Dallas, against Washington, against Brooklyn, because it's going to give him a chance to actually hit the upside. And I've got him at 4% tonight on FanDuel. Fournier is going to be a staple. And I'm done now with that portion, Grant.
Sorry. So do you know who's my favorite play tournament play?
Who is that?
Fournier. I'm right there with you. And close to a 30% usage rate over the last 3-4 games. Like, it's a matchup versus Brooklyn. What does Fournier do? Fournier shoots. He's only put up 14 plus shots in each of the last 4 games. Like, it's a matchup versus Brooklyn. They're terrible defensively. Like, if you're not playing Vooch, I want to have Fournier in every lineup where I don't have Vooch, because one of these guys, like, unless this turns into a complete and total blowout, which always possible, but like, it's not like Brooklyn's not going to give up a ton of points, even in a blowout, even in 3 quarters. Like, Orlando is going to score some points. That's just how things go. Like, I love Fournier here. He's by far my favorite tournament play on the slate. He's coming at low ownership, and everyone's going to go for slightly cheaper guys like Quickly, like Rose, like Curry, like depending on which site you're on. By the way, don't play Curry over on DK. Play him over on FanDuel, where he's way, way cheaper. But yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Fournier is an absolutely fan. The guy put up, 48, 2 in the last 3 games. And the last game that they played, he shot terrible. Let me see what it was. He shot 4 for 14 from the field. Shot 1 from 6 from 3. Like, he's had 47 in 2 of the last 3, and people still aren't going to play him, only at 6.8K.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on board, man. You don't have to sell me on Fournier today. We're linking up here, man. Linking up.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'm so excited. Like, so what are you doing about? You said you're just locking in Rose, at least over on FanDuel. Like, what are you doing between the Rose and the Quickly situation? Are you playing both in a lot of lineups? Are you basically like over on DK? Are you just making a minimum of one in every single lineup? Rose is obviously a little bit more expensive, but just getting the start, could get some extra minutes. But yeah, like how are you handling this situation between the two guys there? And you pretty much need one of those two in every single lineup.
Well, I mean, I think when you're looking on DK, right? Rose is 4,600. Quickly's 46. Quickly's 4,100. I think you can get them both, Grant. I think that's the build on DK. On DK, I definitely think you get them both. I mean, and in fact, you may even be able to squeeze Alec Burks in there as well. Or, our forgotten son here, Mr. Reggie Bullock at 3,600. Like, nobody's talking about him. He's going to keep stable minutes. Now, look, I don't think Reggie Bullock is a better play than Quickly or Rose, okay, for the record. But what I'm saying is if you want to get a little bit different, you throw a guy like that in there and see if he gets to 25 tonight, right? He gets to 25 fantasy points on this slate at 3,600. And, fire up the old grill, baby. Barbecue chicken, as Shaq would say. He's a guy I like. And I'm still in on Randall. Like, I really like Randall at 9,100. I like him at 8,800 on FanDuel. I know the Greeks of the world are going to get there or should get there. I know Jokic should get there. But I still like Julius Randle in this spot against Sacramento. This is just a fantastic spot for the Knicks, period.
Yeah, no, I mean, that anyone going up against Sacramento, it's a fantastic spot. Like, we know the four main matchups that we target almost every single slate. It's Brooklyn, it's Washington, it's Sacramento, and why am I forgetting Portland? Like, pretty much every single slate, that we're going to likely be in a massively high-scoring game. We know that they have huge amount of mismatches. We know that there's going to be point score. I mean, Sacramento is just an abysmal team, which is so interesting. Like, the Knicks, the main reason we don't want to play teams against the Knicks is because they're good defensively, but they just run at an absolutely just slow pace. So even if you go against a team like Brooklyn or Washington, where they're running at one of the faster paces in the league, like, it's still, they can try and dictate the pace more. But a match versus Sacramento, they're going to run out of the same pace, but they're going to likely just have a massive amount of points just strictly based on the fact that Sacramento is horrible on defense. So yeah, it's a perfect matchup for the Knicks, perfect spot for the Knicks. So I'm right there with you. Devo, SBK almost here? Not yet. All right, so we keep talking here. A little bit of an interesting situation. So you said you're probably just sticking to your guns and playing Joker. Like, Embiid and Vooch, you've already talked about.
No, I'm playing Vooch. That's who I'm sticking to my guns on. Nice. Vooch is going against Brooklyn. Now, I've only got two centers in my pool tonight. Just two. And that's Vooch and Jokic. Like, when it's a slate like tonight, I'm trying to get leverage, right? I'm trying to get as much Vooch and as much Jokic as I can, and I'll let the chips fall where they may. I don't have anything against Embiid, by the way. Like, the guy he's a slate-breaking center. On any night, he could go off. I'm just going to side with Jokic and Vooch tonight, and we'll just see what happens. Oh, well, and then there's one other guy I wanted to mention. Now, I'm not playing this guy, Grant. Just want to throw him in the mix because with Whiteside out, perhaps Mr. Holmes picks up 31 minutes. Like, perhaps. And at 5,700 on DK, like, on DK, man, that's fantastic. Like, he's in play. I'm not doing it, okay? But I'm just saying, on DK, that's a big-time price for him. Yeah,
I hate that you're saying that, but I also love that you're saying that. Like, I don't want to play Holmes. Like, absolutely. Porzingis ruled out, and no surprise there. But I absolutely don't want to play Holmes. But that price tag is just too enticing. I mean, it's not a good matchup versus the Knicks. The Knicks are obviously great defensively. Like, Randall draws a whole lot of fouls, and so he could get into foul trouble and get out real quickly. Like, I mean, on that, like, if Holmes is going to play that many minutes, then you have to expect he's going to do well. But I don't know. Like, it's an interesting spot. Like, Holmes and Bagley, like, they could end up just playing Bagley at the 5 for a significant portion of the game. Bielitsa could get some run waivers. Bielitsa out?
No, I think he's in.
Okay, yeah.
It's just Whiteside, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting spot. Like, I assume they'll put Bagley over on Randall. So Holmes should be fine. Probably shouldn't get into too much trouble. But I played Holmes in so many good matchups all season long, and it just hasn't worked out. So I'll end up playing him, like, over on DK. I'll end up playing him, maybe over on Super Draft, where I think he's at 1.7x. But Yeah, it's a tough one, but SBK I still don't think is here yet. We should probably mention our sponsor, Monkey Knife Fight.
Oh,
One of
baby.
the fastest growing single player DFS site in the industry. Offering a nice little promo. Deposit 50, get 50 instant bonus. I think that's correct. Devin will drop it in the comments section. But we got some picks of them tonight over there. What you sent Devin over? Where are you playing?
Well, man, guess what? No secret what game I'm playing. Roll that beautiful beef footage. We got James Harden over under. This is and the thing I like about Monkey Knife Fight too is in their 2 out of 2, they're giving you 3.2x. So essentially, it's better than cash games. If you feel like you're really good at props, that's what it feels like to me here. I'm getting 3.2x on my money. I love it. So anyway, I'm taking the over on James Harden. They got him at a prop or a line of 46.5. I'm taking the over, and then we've got Vooch at 48.5. If you shop around on some of the prop sites, Vooch at 48.5 fantasy points is fantastic. I caught him on a sister site, and I don't want to say a sister site, or another site. He was at like 54. So I caught him at 48.5 on MKF. Definitely taking the over on that. At 54, it was just kind of a really weird spot for me, so I just didn't take Vooch on that particular site. But I mean, I think this is a fantastic spot. So that's where I'm headed for tonight.
Yeah, no, like the odds over on Monkey Knife Fight are great. Like, and I'm a guy that does a whole lot of sports betting, and I mean, if you do a same game parlay over on other sites, like you pop 2 different rebounding props or whatever props, and you can get better odds over on Monkey Knife Fight in a lot of scenarios. So like if you find something, or if you just want to do fantasy points, if you find something that is clearly off, like a 2 out of 2 over on FanDuel, like pays pretty much the same on a, what's it called? And the lines are a lot softer over on Monkey Knife Fight. So I've played quite a bit over there. Not as much recently, but in like I was playing Monkey Knife Fight was my favorite site for a long period of time to make some money. So you can definitely win over there. There's definitely a whole lot of edge to be had, and there's definitely a whole lot of great things. Keach is here. Keach, not a whole lot of news that we were waiting on. Obviously, Porzingis got ruled out, and that's pretty much what we've expected all day long. Keach, what are you seeing over on the projections team?
So, yeah, it's kind of a boring day news-wise. Not really much left right now. We have 2 guys on the Nets, Landry Shamet, Jeff Green. Davis Bertans on the Washington side, and then Dylan Brooks on Memphis is questionable. So, yeah, I mean, kind of slow for a Thursday.
Shamet is available to play, by the way.
Say that again?
Shamet's available to play, and Elf Payton hamstring a game-time decision Thursday.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, nice. You're ahead of me there. So I guess Shamet, one less thing to worry about. We did see, Jeff Green sat in the last game, so we kind of saw what that will probably look like. I think the matchup may change some things, but DeAndre Jordan saw quite a bit more run than he typically would. We actually do have a if then up in for premium users with Green off, so you can kind of take a look at that and see where we will be if he sits. DeAndre Jordan will be projected for 33 minutes in that situation, so what I was to make him far more appealing. Bruce Brown, the other guy who gets kind of a noticeable bump. And then, Memphis is kind of the other situation on the wing. They're kind of getting a little bit tricky now. They're kind of starting to get healthy. They have Justice Winslow in the fold. I would assume like Desmond Bane's probably still going to be somewhat of a thing. Grayson Allen, I imagine, will still play. So they're kind of a little bit tricky on the wing there. I think outside of Ja, really, it's kind of tough to really feel too confident with anybody. Maybe Valanciunas at a center spot in the tournament, but I mean, especially if we see Brooks active tonight, there's just a lot of bodies on the Memphis wing.
Yeah, so with Payton now being a game time, well, it says he's still listed as doubtful, but game time does. I mean, obviously, if Payton does end up playing, like that, probably all the guards are pretty much out. Or not out.
Yeah.
All the out of playing contention, where we currently have Quickly and Rose being 2 of the top options on the entire slate on both FanDuel and DK. Like, if Payton ends up playing, who are we playing over on the Knicks? Who stands out as a good core projection? I don't know if you guys already put that in place because we were all expecting Peyton to not play, and maybe he doesn't end up playing. But it's just interesting that we get that news, him being a game time decision.
Yeah, it's not something I was expecting to see. I still would guess that he sits, but this type of, like, I guess you can call it an upgrade, probably isn't a great sign if you're trying to roster Rose or Quickly. If Peyton does play, I don't really see how we play either of them. I mean, unless he's on like a pretty strict minutes allotment, I don't see that being the case. So, I mean, it's not like we have either Rose or Quickly projected for a ton of minutes. They're just, generally pretty efficient players. And, at their prices, 28, 24 minutes is kind of all they need. So if they drop back to their normal allotments, and even Quickly, he had been kind of down in like the teens, the mid-teen area in terms of minutes, where he's kind of typically in like the low 20s, even sometimes a little bit higher. So he carries even more risk, obviously, if Peyton plays. So, yeah, I mean, that situation becomes very muddy very quickly. I don't think I'd feel good about either Rose or Quickly there.
And now Noel is a game time decision.
Come on, Knicks. What are they doing?
Yeah, are they just messing with us? Like,
no. Let me tell you what's going on. Tom Thibodeau is trying to get his old Bulls team back together for one last run. So they're just going to sit everybody and play Taj and play Rose. That's what's happening here, people.
He might not be wrong, man. They might. Yeah. I mean, they might be forced to do that.
Oh gosh. I cannot play Taj Gibson, but I might have to if Noel sits. Jesus.
Yeah, and I mean, what are the odds that we actually get news before? Well, I mean, I guess it's got to be pretty good, but oh gosh, just close. When we think that it's a slow day, they could turn everything. This could turn the entire slate on its head, as the great Pete Overzet once said. Yeah, gosh darn it. Will, you got any questions for Keach?
How long before Jimmy Butler goes to the Knicks?
I hope I don't see that anytime soon. Unless he's coming back home to Philly. You can keep him down there in Miami. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy that I come on like 5 minutes ago talking about how quiet of a slate this might be, and then 5 minutes later we're maybe talking about the best value options on the slate not being in play anymore. So that's the NBA for you.
Yeah, they are a nightmare.
Last thing, Keith. How about our boy Josh Jackson keeps crushing on FanDuel, and they just keep him at 5,100. I just keep playing him every day.
They're begging us to play him, and I'll keep doing it. It's my Josh Jackson's my guy.
Yeah, man. Oh boy.
All right. Well, thanks, Geezer. You obviously got it. Well, I don't even. You gotta get, I guess, ready for if Elf does get ruled in. So we'll let you go. Thanks for hopping on.
All right, see you, boys.
See you. Oh, gosh. All right, so, Will, what are we doing if Peyton does end up playing or if Noel's out? Like, Gibson, like, gosh darn it. What do you want to do?
Look, so if Noel's out, honestly, my first thought is, are they going to play any of these rookies? Like, are they going to play Obi Toppin? Are they going to play what's the other guy's name that doesn't get any? Kevin Knox. And then I look at the coaching staff and I look who's running the show, and I see it's Tibbs, and I say, come on, man, be smart. They're not playing those guys over Taj Gibson. And lo and behold, Taj Gibson is probably going to be squarely in play if he's going to get 25 minutes. And I feel really bad. And I think I just probably need to hit the X button, but I don't know if I can. I'm just not sure if I can do it, knowing Tom Thibodeau. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, so I wonder if this could scare some people off of playing the Knicks, because I mean, there's still a decent chance that Peyton does end up playing. But also, like, what do you think about the fact that we can swap over from Rose to Campazzo? We can swap from Quickly over to Augustine, which isn't great unless you're already playing multiple of those in your lineup. But there are a few direct pivots or close enough to direct pick that's on the slate. What do you think about, like, if we don't have news by 7:00, like leaving them in your? Are you planning on leaving them in your lineups? Like, I know it's a little bit different on FanDuel. I can go check out their pricing, but on DK.
Well, the game starts at 7:30, so even if we get it after, like, I'm going to proceed as if Elf is out, Noel. Like, A good question, Grant. I think it's going to help the people. I'm going to proceed as if everything is as normal. Noel plays. Elf is out. So I'm going to proceed with Derrick Rose. I'm going to proceed with either Quickly or Burks or Curry. Like that's kind of going to be what I'm going to proceed with. I'm probably going to proceed with Julius Randle no matter what. Like he's got stable minutes. I don't think they're sitting him, and because I'm going to have two guys. I wouldn't be able to play Curry because he's at 7. So sorry about that. But I'm already gonna be playing Harden. Already going to be playing Fournier. Already going to be playing Vooch. So that's not really going to change for me at all. So I'm going to proceed as if the lineup comes out as if we think, and then if something weird happens, then I'll start kind of making some decisions, or I'll be ready to make decisions as we move along here.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I think, like the fact that they said both Noel and Peyton makes me think that they're just saying that, kind of like Doc Rivers multiple times this year. They're probably going to play. I can't definitively say it, but they're probably going to play. I think it's just like there's a chance that Noel doesn't play, and then there's a chance that Peyton plays. So I don't know. I mean, it's the NBA. At least we should have the news beforehand.
It's a 7:30 game, so we'll probably either get it during crunch time or right after lock. Like I'm hoping they don't push it too bad. The Knicks haven't been bad this year in terms of injury reporting, so I'm expecting them to be okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, if you guys done all right, tune into crunch time. We got Roth, I'm assuming, Meansy, and Squirrel Patrol. John, I can't even. I've been in this +1 to event. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name, but Breslin. I pronounced it with a P there, I think. But in any case, and more news. Kleber is playing. All right, that's fine. That really doesn't change a bunch for me. I mean, with Porzingis still out, like, are you using any of these Dallas centers? I should probably ask.
No, I'm pretty much staying clear of Dallas. May not even have much Luka today, and I don't dislike Luka at all, right? And I think Luka's fantastic, but Dallas has to do so much to win. I mean, I do feel like Philly is one of the better defensive teams. Now, I'm not saying they're like completely elite, but they're good enough to kind of stick it to Dallas here at home. Should be fairly fresh. So I'm not really considering too many guys for that. I know we've got Josh Richardson, who's value, and Dorian Finney-Smith, and I know we've got these value guys, but I don't like them, so I'm just not going to play them. Period. No interest in Hardaway or any of the guys. Nope, just don't like them. Just not worried about it. I'm probably more interested in Philly, like a Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Joel Tobias. Remember, I'm on the train that Dallas isn't playing good defense. So with that being the case, on a slate like tonight, I'm willing to maybe overpay for Ben Simmons in the event that we catch an upside game. And I'm not changing my story. I keep preaching the same thing. You want to take an overpriced player, take them in an upside game. Take them in a spot where the defense is going to be, rather pedestrian. And so, I don't mind a Ben Simmons in this spot, just like I don't mind paying for Fournier, a little bit more expensive against Brooklyn. Same concept.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're a smart guy. You're right on the money. No interest in Boban, the greatest basketball player of all time.
Oh man, Grant, I've always got interest in Boban.
He put up 21 the other night versus Boston. Just saying there, but yeah, no, I don't. I still. It's so tough to ever trust that. So that guys probably don't play Boban. But if you play Boban, there's always a chance.
I said interest. I didn't say in DFS. Put a lawyer card on you.
Oh, you got interest in his top shots. I'm keep waiting for them to dip so I can at least get one of those moments in there, but just hasn't happened yet.
Look, man, I obviously I'm in the collectible space, so I am, hoping to get my hand on a legendary pack of some sort. That pack drop's supposed to come tomorrow, possibly. It's supposed to be around $99. But if you wanted to buy a Top Shot pack, I will say this. I'm not saying it's like the best one, but it's close. Like if you want to get into Top Shot, I definitely think you get your hands on one of these packs. $100, you're going to get 6 moments. I think you're guaranteed a gold hollow or something like that. Either way, this should be some form of instant equity, even if you get a couple. I don't want to say.
I will buy the pack at a 50% upcharge immediately to anyone who gets one. Probably.
Yep, probably so. Maybe
so
even
you have
more
like,
than that.
You can guarantee get at least a 50% upcharge. All you have to do is sign on 2 minutes before the drop, see where you're at in line. Like I can guarantee, don't open your pack and you can sell it to most likely me or anyone else with probably even more money. So yeah, I mean that would just lessen my odds of getting one, but who cares? We're here to help out the people. Devin, you want to hop on early? You've been compiling those questions.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Well, can I throw something in? Right,
Devin.
Yep.
Devin, put your beautiful face on the screen for everybody. Remember, I can't see the feed, so I don't know if you're up or not. But I did want to mention this, ladies and gentlemen. Jamal Murray has been playing out of his mind. Jamal Murray, bubble. Jamal Murray is back, even outside of the bubble, obviously. I feel like maybe he was hampered because he was hurt in the playoffs. Probably had to get his legs back under him. And then also they had a lot of guys that have been out. So Jamal is playing big time basketball. He's got stable minutes. He's going to play, and he's got tremendous upside against Washington. His numbers have been off the charts the past couple weeks. I'm willing to play Jamal Murray at 8,300 on FanDuel. Well, look, then you hop on over to DK.
Only
Guess what the price is, folks? $100 more. I'm willing to play Jamal Murray at this price. He's been fantastic the past few games, and I think he's going over. Look, I'm going to give you the ownership here on FanDuel. Guys, if I start going on a rant about someone, please trust me on this, okay? Well, I go on these mini rants. Hopefully everybody listens. Jamal Murray, we've got him projected at 5% on FanDuel. Grant, listen to that. 5%. Jamal Murray could legitimately put up 50 again in this spot against Washington if it stays competitive. We've got him at 5%. I'm really, really interested in Jamal Murray today.
Right there with you, and also should mention over on Super Draft, 1.3x multiplier. Like everyone's going to go with Westbrook over there. Westbrook's going to come in at like 55% ownership. Murray's going to come in on the other side, and it's perfect the guy to throw into your game stack at probably 10 to 12%.
Yeah. Seriously.
All
right there with you.
Well, might as well go and get to some questions. If you guys notice if you notice me like licking my lips, my wife gave me a snack right before we got started, and it was like a bagel sandwich, and she took my love of spicy things to heart, and it was just loaded with sriracha. So my mouth is on fire right now. And
dude, have you had the Yellowbird sriracha?
I haven't. I'm trying real hard to not like rub my sweaty face to get spicy stuff all over.
Senor Sriracha.
It's warm over here, guys.
Dude, the Yellowbird sriracha is by far the best one.
I'll have to try it. I haven't actually ever heard of it.
It's made with agave. It's organic, so Devin will be happy there. But it's not that expensive. They sell it at Whole Foods. It's incredible for the price.
Grant likes hot things, including Fireball.
I do. Man, I haven't had Fireball in a little bit.
Let's get started with Ink Magma. I believe I remember that person from Discord. FanDuel tournament. Can you do Vooch and Fournier in the same lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. That is the base build of all my builds tonight. Fournier, Vooch, period.
Yeah, it's a matchup versus Brooklyn. Like, you can play as many people as you want in that lineup.
There's 2 spots. You only need 5 more for FanDuel. Nate wants to know thoughts on fading Jokic to play Embiid with Vooch, DK small entry or small field GPP.
Do you want me to handle DK, by the way, and you handle
FanDuel? Yeah, you take
idea.
DK, I'll take FanDuel. We'll split it. That's great.
All right, yeah, no, absolutely love that idea. Like, again, Vooch and Embiid are both half the ownership of Jokic. I'm looking at FanDuel. Yeah, both of them absolutely love that idea.
Just told you you're DK. Eric says...
Well, no, I was looking at ownership on the FanDuel page,
okay.
and I went over to... I knew their own... I thought they changed the ownership, but it turns out it was just... I was looking at the wrong page, but I knew their ownership was around 12 and 13.
Eric wants to know, DK tournament, is Ben Simmons a good play?
Yes. Like, he can always have a ceiling game. He's 8.7K. Like, even with Embiid not drawing a ton of ownership, it's a matchup versus Dallas, who's horrible defensively. So, yes, Ben Simmons is a great tournament play at less than 10% ownership.
Jonathan wants to know, we'll get both your thoughts on this one. Can you play Rose, Quickly, and Burks together?
I don't think I want to do that on FanDuel, and just full transparency. That's what my personal Opta was spitting out, but I'm gonna fight my Opta. I can't do that.
It's hard to put that many players from one team on FanDuel.
Well, that many cheap players too. Like you're giving up James Harden on FanDuel if you get away from that. You're giving up Bradley Beal. Like you're taking up 2 shooting guard spots with Burks and Quickly. I can't. I just can't do it.
And Grant, for DK thoughts, we got Steve asking for single entry. How many Knicks are too many Knicks? And would you run it back with Halliburton?
I don't mind running it back with Halliburton. I don't mind running it back with Holmes. I don't even mind running it back with Fox. But I probably for tournaments wouldn't go over 3. Like, I think like Quickly, Rose, and Randall. Like you can use those 3, but I wouldn't go 4. Because Barrett, like, if he's going off, I think that eats into a little bit to Burks, to Quickly, to Rose. Like it'll eat into one of them. So I would probably go 3 max.
All right. Legit wants to know, well, we just touched on Halliburton. Nate wants to know, DK, who do you like more between Holmes and Bagley?
Holmes.
Eric, DK tournament, Campazzo. I believe we mentioned him in pre-show.
Yeah, I mean he's a pivot off of Quickly and Rose. Like he's 100 more than Quickly and 400 less than Rose. So I don't mind in tournaments.
Steve wants to know for DK single entry. Oh, we got that one. Brian, this was a little bit off topic, but what's the typical sleep schedule look like? It's daytime, it's DFS. Nighttime, it's refreshing that Top Shots page.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like I've been getting up a little bit early this week because I've been plugging some stuff into the First Look article, just in terms of card investments for that day. And I'm talking about actual cardboard, not virtual Top Shot.
Old school.
Yeah, old school or normal school.
Yeah, right.
I've been that's kind of what I've been doing. Most nights I try to go to bed between 10 and 11 because I like to get up early. And it depends on what game I'm watching. Sometimes I'll catch a movie, but that's my schedule. I don't like to sweat the games all the time. I know we're diving deeper into my personal life, but I don't like to sweat the slate every day. So I try to detach from DFS
That's
for
probably
a few hours.
I would imagine.
And let my brain run free. Like right now, I'm watching Uncut Gems. Like it's not my little TV's like right here.
Yeah.
Well, not little. I think it's about 47 inches, whatever it is. But either way,
that is little.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
That the guy with 2 43-inch TVs right next to him.
So I'm watching that. So like when I hop off here, once I get through crunch time, I'll probably finish Uncut Gems. I'm also watching Good Girls on Netflix, which is pretty funny. And I'll probably watch an episode or 2 of that. See how my prop bets are doing. See how my lineups are doing before I go to sleep. If I'm up, great. If not, maybe I'll be up when I wake up in the morning and then watch, rinse, repeat.
By the way, Boston Legal, fantastic TV show. Up on Amazon. Just finished it for like the 8th time.
Yeah.
Highly suggest.
I'm not even kidding. I'm melting over here, guys. Moses wants to know, Eric Bledsoe in a revenge game?
I'm not doing it.
On FanDuel, it might be okay. Like I think on FanDuel, he's a good pivot if you think he can get a little bit of upside. Like I think he's 4,800.
Yep.
Or some. Like I don't mind it on FanDuel.
All right, Matthew would like to know our favorite FanDuel GPP value play.
I mean, let's go Derrick Rose. Let's go Seth Curry. Let's go. So a lot of it's at point guard too. Like it doesn't feel like it, but let's go with what's his name? Pat Connaughton is at point guard. That he's 4,400 against New Orleans. Don't mind that. You've got DJ Augustine at 3,900. Don't hate that. And then of course you've got Quickly, Burks as well. I actually, and this is a flyer, but Justice Winslow is 3,900 at small forward. Playing about 25 minutes. I know he didn't quite get to the last game, but he's going to get 25 minutes at 3,900. I don't hate it.
Moses was asking for favorite small forward. So would you say Winslow for FanDuel tournament?
Like on the cheap end, yes. Let me check my pool real quick, and I'll tell you.
So something interesting about Winslow is he's shot 24 shots in 2 games, and he's only made 4. Like,
right.
There's going to be some positive regression.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do like Will Barton, Do like R.J. Barrett. Do like Michael Porter Jr. Those are probably my top 3 outside of the really cheap guys. I know I don't want to play anybody from Dallas. I don't hate Josh Richardson. I just, I think I'm just going to pass today. But Justice Winslow is like my flyer on the slate. Like if there's like just bottom line 3,900, Justice Winslow is my guy.
Nice. All right. Josiah asks on DK tournaments, are you okay with pairing Murray and Jokic together?
Yep.
So
I mean, they've gone off in multiple of the past 4 games together. So it's a matchup versus Washington. So absolutely no problem with that.
All right, moving on. Let's see. Steve wants to know, is Najee in play for value DK single entry?
I'm probably not rolling with him now.
All right, moving on. With all this value, says Jeff, is it okay to roster Jokic and Giannis in the same lineup?
Yeah. I mean, if you can do it. Like, obviously,
that's what my Opto's giving me.
Yeah. And it's easier to do over on FanDuel, I feel like.
Yeah.
Friend of the show giving a very good point to remember. Wash your hands before you peel those habaneros.
Oh, yeah. And if you eat wings, watch out when you go to the bathroom at Buffalo Wild Wings, as I found out on multiple occasions.
I misread. He said, wash your hands before you pee, not peel, which is just as important, we'll say.
And exactly what I was talking about.
JWC DK tournament is Aminu in play as ugly low-owned Brooklyn Orlando game stack.
Oh, man.
I love the reaction.
You said on DK?
Yeah. So thankfully you don't have to worry about it.
I mean,
hey, Grant, take it away.
If you really need somebody cheap and you're hoping the game goes to double overtime, sure.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Mitchell wants to know favorite cash game center for FanDuel.
Vooch.
John asks, thoughts on building around Jokic and Giannis with Murray and Boban?
Must be DK.
Yeah. No, probably not going Boban.
As much as he'd love to.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to go balls out, high payout, like 35% to first, big field tournaments or qualifier, sure, but in most tournaments, you probably don't want to go Boban.
Moses asks for FanDuel tournament, any love for Michael Carter Williams?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's Brooklyn, man. I'm not going to fight you on guys that are getting minutes, but I will fight you on Al-Farouq Amino.
Carmine in chat here says Uncut Gems is overrated. Guy nails 8-team parlays like nothing. I can't nail a single bet. I can relate to that.
I'm sure glad I passed up that part because that would have spoiled it for me.
Woo!
The guy was broke, so he was clearly not hitting as high of a rate as it showed.
What was that guy that hit the somebody hit a crazy
Parlay
bet?
Pat?
Was that what it was? Probably was what it was. It's from football season.
After hitting a massive
right.
one.
That's like how you always see those stories play out. Jonathan asked, DK tournament, what Orlando cheapies do you like? Feels like someone's going to go off there.
Well, the guys that have been producing are already priced up, so it's probably just Michael Carter Williams. I don't see Amino Acid producing. I don't see, Dwayne Baconator producing. Terrence Ross is already priced up now. Like, the production is what it is.
Apparently, JWC was fishing the Aminu play just as a way to get a reaction. So, seems like they got the requested from you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. Let's see. Jeff asks, is it okay to roster? Oh, we got that one. No, it didn't. I think this is a differently phrased question. With all this value, is it okay to roster Jokic and Giannis in the same lineup DK tournament? Maybe the same question.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the same question. Yeah, you can roster both of them.
And Philip's asking about Winslow. We definitely touched on that as a good value play. Michael, who's a great play on FanDuel on this late slate?
Oh, late slate. My goodness. Let's see here. I think if you're late slate building, I'm probably because it's just going to be the 9 and the 9:30 game. I'm probably just going to try to find the game stack that works, which is probably going to be the Washington Denver game. So, if you want to play late slate, it looks like they may have Mo Wagner starting, but he's probably a guy I look at on the late slate. I'd probably look at Campazzo on the late slate. Like, you can still get leverage with some of these plays. Monty Morris might be a guy I look at on the late slate. Let's see, who else? Pat Connaughton, he would be a guy I would look at. Bryn Forbes. Like, those are the guys you're going to need on the late slate. Whichever one of those guys hits the nuts, hits 30, that's the one you need, and you're just going to have to get you a good core and cycle through that.
D. Bill's asking a strategy question. Do you guys use a big range of outcomes on Lineup HQ?
No.
Especially not for basketball, I would imagine.
Yeah, not for me. Typically in basketball, I'm locking a guy or two in anyway. Sometimes I lock in 4 guys. So all I'm trying to do is get that core, and then I'm just cycling through the rest of the guys I like around me.
I think everything's so projectable in basketball, it's probably best to just leave it as it is, but that's just one person's opinion. Let's see. Somebody here. Mutton Chops, friend of the show. DK Tournament. Murray, Porter, Barton stack with Harden. DK Tournament.
Don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Jason, Super Draft Core tonight. You have the right person on the show today to ask that question.
Yeah, it's your absolute stone cold core of cash is Joker, Westbrook, Harden. Then you're probably throwing in guys like Kyrie, Giannis, Randall, Middleton, Beal, Zion, Morant. For tournaments, like, you pretty much lock in Joker. I mean, you can play Vooch, but he's even at a lower multiplier, so it's not the worst idea in the world. But I'm probably just locking in Joker. And then my favorite tournament plays are Jamal Murray as a pivot off of Westbrook and Fournier as a good pivot with dual position eligibility.
Where's Fournier at tonight on Super Draft, Grant?
1.6. 1.6.
Oh,
it's
gosh.
ridiculous.
If he gets 40, like, forget it. Like, they're dead.
If he gets 50, then
yeah. You win all the money, period. Yeah.
And Jason, keep an eye out tomorrow. Grant's going to be doing another Super Draft show for tomorrow's slate, right?
Yep.
And Andrew wants us to say hi. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
What's up?
Gabriel says, "Who's your beast of the night and number one value play?" Guys, that was yesterday. That was beer yesterday. You guys want to put your beer hat on, try and play a beast of the night?
I mean, listen, mine's Fournier, man. I just that's it. I'm going Fournier.
You took my guy, so I'll go Jamal Murray.
Nice.
Yeah, that would
probably
be my
his other guy. Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, we're meanwhile very much on the same play with our favorite tournament plays.
Just about 2 minutes left. Don't forget to hit that like button, everyone. Lewis asks, "What about the Pels? Ingram and Zion?"
I wouldn't play both, but I like Ingram. I like Zion today.
Yeah, that's where I've been playing Zion pretty frequently here recently since he's been dialing up the upside. I had him last night. It's been working out pretty well.
All right, John, on DK, what 3.4 player on utility can I go with?
Ooh.
What was Winslow's
Taj
price?
Gibson. I'm just kidding.
Did you say on DK?
Is DK, yeah.
Winslow's 3.9, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little too much. And Will, while we're looking at that one, Adrian asks, FanDuel power forward besides Giannis for cash?
Cash. Probably. Give me a second. Hold on. I'm just trying to get my build here because it's going to tell me exactly. Honestly, mine is giving me Randall.
And what was yours, Grant?
Probably Powell. And I wouldn't put him in the util since he's the first game, so just put him in the center spot. And you have
either Randall or Zion, which means you're going to be really loaded at power forward and center.
All right, just a minute left, so we'll get one or two more. Jonathan asks, DK tournament, Bruce Brown, Burks, or Hardaway?
Hardaway.
Taj Gibson, DK, we touched on that one. Anthony asks, DK Cash, who's your second favorite pay up after Jokic?
For DK Cash, it's probably going to be Harden.
K-Town's finest, DK single entry, would you play DJ Augustine?
Yeah, he's fine.
And Corey, of course, Luka's a great GPP play. All right, Grant. Oh my gosh, I almost called you Dean. Grant, take us home.
All right, guys, thanks for joining in. Crunch time up after this. We got Roth, we got Meansy, we got Squirrel Patrol. Thanks for joining me, Will. This has been basketball. This has been Thursday. We're out of here. Holler!